Alright, got the RS3 back in here. Cause he was not happy with how the springs are settling. Just got that reverse rake like most cars do. So your really only options are to install the thicker rear spring perches or pads, and that's pretty much it. Or get coilovers. Pretty much every it's always lower in the rear. Pretty much every single spring installation I do is always lower in the rear. I don't think there is one that isn't lower in the rear. Some companies like the EMD, manual design ones, they give you the thicker okay, make sure it's recording. They give you the thicker perches for the rear, so it kind of sits a little higher in the rear. And then there's also the TT RS or the TT something, thicker rubber perches that go in the rear and kind of level it out. But he's going with the KW things. I don't even know what they are. They're kind of like the HM. I don't know. The other ones are orange and black. And they're like these ones. These ones. And they just slide over the stock suspension. And also doing a IE intake install with the turbo inlet. So let's see what we got here. I got my face. We got a vibrant. I got a coupler. I got some hose and a thingamadoo. Some tensions, clamps, and this massive intake thing, this inlet. Now, from what I've seen, I really haven't looked at the instructions yet, but I guess the old one's kind of pain in the butt. It has maybe safety screws getting it, like safety screws holding it on or something. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna start with that since I've never done one before. So let's see how it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by finding my tripod. Move this hose off the stock airbox. Go ahead and remove your corkscrews off the front air dam. Pull this off. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove, let's see, and remove this clamp here. Get this thing higher. Pull up on the box. Get your stock airbox out, and then you have this hose connected right here for your DSG breather. There you go, breather. Airbox. Next, I'm going to remove this. So go ahead and pinch this hose right here. There's the perforated, or it has like little dashes in it. Just go ahead and squeeze these right here. It's like this. And that comes off. And then you have your T30 holding this pipe on right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get to that T30 right now. the spring-loaded clamp off over here. Somewhere, somehow. Okay, now comes the tricky part. Is getting this thing out of here. So this can make your life a million times easier if you have a tiny 1/4" ratchet to get down here and get this one. This T30. Ow, that's hot. So you have the T30 for this. And this is so hot still. Ow. T30 for this wastegate line right here. Go ahead and take that out. You just need to loosen it, and then you should be able to just use your fingers. You got strong fingers like me. That's for the boost line. And I'm gonna go ahead and remove the actually, I'm gonna start taking this off. Oops. You need to get to this thing right here, this PCV, sorry, this, where is it? This thingamaling right here to get this hose out. So go ahead and unplug your coils and do this. Pull up the red locking tab. Find the easiest path here with the least amount of stuff. So then this hose goes here, which is kind of being blocked here. Line we just pulled up. These are big, but okay. Well, here's the screw that I took off down here for this little line right here. Pull this coil plug off. Sorry. Cam phaser thing. And the name of the game is to get this thing out of here. So I think I'm just gonna loosen that coil also. So you can move it a little bit. And then now you have access to this breather. This hose off here. This is the reason you can't take this off. It's because it has a tamper-proof screw on this inlet pipe. So you have to take the inlet out first, and then you can go ahead and get this plastic piece off. So now I'm just going to work at getting this screw down here. There's a screw down yonder, way down here on top of the turbo inlet. So I don't know, I can't really show that. It's really down there. Oh my god. There's the top screw, the T30 that holds that inlet. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and remove this inlet pipe. Is it? The outlet, sorry, the discharge pipe. I'm going to go ahead and remove this to pull. You got to pull it down because it's blocking one of the bolts, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. Well, this should be kind of, yeah, cool. Alright. Go ahead and loosen your 7 here. And then go ahead and get to your T30 up here, which kind of has the belt in the way, but you should be able just to push the belt in. Get in there. If you can get a extension. I already kind of loosened the fender liner too, just to help. Which isn't really helping. I'll pull that off. Here we go. Get your T30 up here. T30, holding this pipe on. Now, oh, bummer. Way up there. And then, so let's go ahead and work at this. Let's see if we can keep this from falling down. Up here, there's a triple square right here holding this pipe on, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that now. Fantastic. And here I'm just using a standard triple square, 12 point, whatever you want to call it. Nothing fancy to get to this bolt. It's a bit hot still. Doke. Now, so that's loose now. And I'm going to try to get to one of these 7mm up here, which is could be a pain in the boutoir. Let's see what we're dealing with here.
Bill!
Crazy dog.
Look at her face!
I know, I see her face.
Why Bill's face like that?
She's trying to sneak out. So to get the upper intake tube outlet, I'm just going to go from the top right here and get it out here if I can reach it somewhere. There it is. Feel it.
Is this a scoop?
No,
What is this?
it's a tool.
Oh, is it for the pumpkin?
No,
Oh, what is it for?
for car stuff. Like everything else in that box.
What shape? Oh, wait, is this it? Yeah. Oh, what is this?
on the upper clamp to that turbo discharge, and I'm loosening it now. And then what I'm going to do is when I put it back together, I'm going to reposition it because it's a pain in the butt, obviously, to get off. See if I got it loose enough to get off. Loosen it some. Actually, you probably do this from here.
That is the other hammer to me. The other one, please.
Bell?
This one, please. Oh, thank you.
Bell!
Daddy,
What?
I got you this.
Oh, thank you. You can leave it on my bench.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Daddy, are these for climbing trees?
No.
Why? What is it for?
Nails.
Whoa, for this? For these ones?
Yeah. Let's do this one up here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to capture that. It's this one right.
Daddy?
Can't. It's behind the boot right here.
Daddy, I found
Right here is the T30. You need the last one you need to get it off. So go ahead and take it off. Somehow. See, I think I might have been able to get this from the top. Because I have like a little flexy thing. Now this thing isn't even tight.
Daddy, what is this? Daddy, what is this?
This is the reason why you have to take this off here, is because you have this tamper-proof screw. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grind a flat spot into it and use a flat head to take it off. So I went ahead and took just a angle grinder and then just cut a flat spot on it, and then you go ahead and unscrew this. Oh no, I'm bleeding. This guy's car always hurts me. And then now, take this off. Through. And take this off. And there's your old pipe. So here's a comparison to the two. Pretty big difference. Obviously you can't just shove this. Get some your favorite petroleum jelly or whatever I have, pure petroleum jelly. Stick that in there. And so that's where you have this adapter now. And take this metal gasket here, which give it to me. Oh, that should be fun to get to stay on. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go ahead and run this through the top, and then I'm going to install this bolt by hand, which they give you. These two 10 mils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this down, and then I'm going to take the top one and get it in there. I'm going to start it, and then I'm going to lay down the bottom, and I'm going to run this one to the bottom. To face the right direction. I think their instructions are pretty sucky, actually.
What you doing?
To ensure that they don't come out, which I've never had to do, but I'm just going to do what they say. So go ahead and fit this in there, making sure that your gasket's still on there. Which I think mine just fell off. Yep. Alright, so if you have any shred of sanity left over, go ahead and just don't do this. It's kind of, even with all the tools, it's just tedious. So I went ahead and I fed this in here. And I started the bolts. I started the bottom one, then I started the top one, then I moved to the bottom one and got them started. Then I came back to the top. And I thought was made it all the way up, and then I tightened the top all the way up, and then, which I'm using this little chode wrench for, because you can't fit anything in there. And it just made a giant gap on the bottom. So I got scared, so I went back and loosened up the top again, and went back to the bottom, because it made a gap on the ear that you're tightening through, and I want to snap it off. So now I'm going to go back to the bottom and check that again. Okay, so the bottom's tight. These instructions they give you suck. They don't. Then they give you this included vacuum line, which I'm not even sure what you use it for. I think you're supposed to use it for from here, but they give you this line, but I don't. It doesn't say anything about like not using this anymore. I guess you can't use this anymore, right? No, you totally can. I feel like just gotta bend it a little. Maybe it doesn't reach anymore. Let's see. Put this pipe back on over here. Let that fall down there. I really was thinking about giving up on this stupid video because it was frustrating me so much, but I'll get it out there. So now that when you rotated this pipe here, now you can get this on here, kind of. It's tight, real tight. So that's these little Torx 20 screws here. Alright, looking at some pictures, it looks like you just use this and manipulate it back on, I guess. So I'm going to plug this back into the wastegate down here. And then I'm going to put AT30 yet. Maybe. Is it T30? See, I can't see shit. And then obviously this isn't gonna work anymore, so you're just gonna have to, I guess, just bend this till it reaches. Doesn't say anything about this in the instructions. It's not the ones I got. And then we also got the 034 heat shield here. Go ahead and put this on. So you just pretty straightforward here. You just go ahead and remove this T30 off this cam sensor here. There we go. There's a cam sensor right here that you can't see, but just go ahead and put that there. And there's one extra hole, but I'm gonna see if that gets used. So the cam sensor's right here, and then there's another hole here. I'm gonna see if the IE intake goes in there or not. does not, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the old screw. Use this 10mm cane that I have laying around. This thing doesn't really like this thing there. Doke. And since he's going with the IE intake now, I had to get a bigger hose because the stock IE reducer, which would be this, no longer fits here. So what I'm gonna have to do is kind of measure this and then cut this. Sorry, I can't see anything. Cut this, so we got a 4-inch here, and I'm gonna just kind of line them up and then cut them. Man, was that a pain in the butt. So I got it back in, I reused this, got that in there, and this, and then I also did the IE intake. But since it's reduced, you had to install this, and it doesn't really curve, and if it didn't come out the best. I cut it straight, but if you really wanted to fit perfect in there, you'd have to like cut this at an angle slightly, and I just didn't want to risk completely messing it up, so I just left it. And I mean, you can't even tell, so throw this engine cover back on. I have to throw the pipe down below, the discharge pipe, I gotta put that back on. What's going on here? I gotta throw the discharge pipe back on, and then I'll be done with that. And then I can go ahead and install this KW kit on it.